Today we are at the White House Fire Department and we are going to be taking a tour with Lieutenant Kelly Norris. When I'm walking up to the fire department, I've got a little free library so I can come in and get some books. And when I come in here, I know that I just need to ring the bell.
Morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to White House Fire.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Norris. I'm the A Shift Lieutenant at Station 85 here. We've signed up to do this virtual tour with you guys where we'll take you through the station, show you a little bit, give you some descriptions and stuff, show you some of our vehicles and kind of go from there. So the first thing, everyone's at home right now practicing their social distancing. As you can see by our offices, we've sent all the chiefs home. So that's one of our benefits for it. Chief 85 is Josh Harburger. He's at home working out of his home office now. Our administrative assistant Rita's at home, and our deputy chief Jason Francis is also home working out of his office. Normally these offices would be full of people. Come on this way. We sent our training captain Kevin McNutt home. He's at home working on training right now, getting some training programs together, moving everything over to online so our on-duty crews and our volunteers can train from home or the station. As we go through here, we'll come down in. This is our dispatch office, our radio room. You can see the calls that come in come up on a screen for us, so we can see those, get information on who called 911. Let me get, and shows us the calls that are going on in our immediate area. This is our radio room where most people would come, our volunteers on a call. If they are here, they'll wait around on standby, pick up a portable radio, listen to the traffic. If we need additional help on scene, then they'll come out and assist us with that kind of thing. Most of them would sign in. We've actually implemented a new policy where they actually wait in the parking lot now to keep them out of the building so we can further separate ourselves. Just in case the coronavirus gets to one of us, it won't get to all of us, hopefully. Come on, let's show you some more stuff. Here's some of our turnout gear. We'll go through somebody's gear. I will pick Rita Yunker is one of our administrative assistants. She's at home right now, so I'll go ahead and pick her gear out. This is our fire coat. Rita has her safety vest already on it, so she's ready to go to like a traffic accident or somewhere where she'd have to be out on the road and be safe. If we go to a fire, the safety vest comes off, and then this is just the normal coat that she would wear. For our safety, our names are on the back, along with Station 85's also on the back of all of our coats. That's a safety feature so that when we're out on scene and we're walking away from somebody, any of the bosses can see exactly who it is. We all look the same when we're wearing the same uniforms, the same coats. They can see exactly who it is and call us by name if we're close by to them. We go on down to Rita's bunker pants. Her boots are all ready to go. Pants are ready to go. All Rita would have to do is come in, put her feet in, pull the boots up, and she's ready to go. And the other important part is her fire helmet. So, helmet's ready. She has a light on hers. Some of us will have some different lights and some different things on them. Some people will carry some wedges and things. The thing built into all of our helmets right now is eye protection. If we flip a little lever here, we have safety glasses built right into our helmets. So, easy to put that on when she's at the scene of an accident, and she can push it back up and then lock it back over. So, I forgot to say, you guys can type in questions and things along the way, and my videographer is Sergeant Bradley from the police department. She'll try to read those questions for us and kind of go from there if we can answer them for you. One of the neat things I want to show you about our coats, pretty neat coats. They're a lot heavier than what you would normally wear. It's kind of like a big winter coat. It has two parts. The first part is the inside, the liner, and this is quilted. And this is the fire resistant part. This is the part that keeps the heat out. And of course it's lined and also keeps moisture out from us. The outer part is the shell, usually made of Kevlar or PBI or Nomex. Those fabrics then prevent more heat from coming in and prevent from being scratched or ripped or anything like that. Inside of here, you can kind of look, you can see there's a strap here. So you kind of wonder where that goes. If we look on the back of all of our coats, that White House Fire currently has, it says DRD on it. That stands for Drag Rescue Device, and that actually is for our personal protection. That connects all the way down to those straps and goes all the way around whoever's in this coat, their arms and their body, and you can actually grab this strap on the back of the firefighter, cinch it up, and you can actually lift the firefighter with them having just their coat on. So it's a neat safety feature for us. If we happen to become unconscious or get injured at a fire, someone else can walk over, grab our drag rescue device, and drag us right out of the building if they need to. That's the basics of the gear. So most people know our fire coats cost somewhere around $700. Our pants are around $500. Quite a bit of equipment. Has to be replaced every 10 years, whether it's worn out or not. Boots are a couple $100, and our helmets are usually around $100. So there's a lot invested in each employee here. As you can see, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 employees, varying between volunteer, part-time, and career guys and girls. All of them have the minimum equipment of the coat, the pants, the vest, and the helmet. Along that, they also all have gloves, which are fire resistant, and also medical equipment. Let's take a brief look around the station. We'll come up here. White House Fire has our primary out engine is engine 85. This vehicle responds on injury crashes, all structure fires, things like that. This carries the Jaws of Life, which is a set of spreaders and cutters on them. We also have Truck 85, which is our newest truck. 107-foot aerial ladder, helps us in any of the businesses, helps us also in the residence to get on the roof to vent the roof. When we come on over, department, we have a water tender that helps us bring basically a swimming pool of water to your house in case you don't have fire hydrants. We respond outside of the village, so when we go outside, we need to take our water with us. And then our reserve engine is engine 86, is our old Sutphin engine, and that's just basically a duplicate of the engine 85. Every engine, once it does its 10 years to 15 years on the front line, comes back and is the reserve engine for another 10 years for us, and then we sell them off after that. Over here we have a brush truck. White House is still pretty rural. We have a lot of brush. We cover a large area of the metro parks, and so we have a lot of forest fires or grass fires in the summertime. If we go on over, we'll take a peek. Way up there you can see our new utility truck. A lot of citizens probably saw a Blazer running around town a few years ago, and this is what replaced our Blazer. We went to a little bit more functional of a pickup truck to allow us to do some utility work. This is our third out vehicle for EMS calls. Slide on over here, let me show you something. If you take a look in here, you'll see this vehicle has an airway bag. That's just exactly like the ones on our medic units. You'll also see that little box over there. Let's go around the other side and take a look. Does anybody know what that is? This is a Physio-Control Life Pack defibrillator. This will help us reset your heart in the event that it's not beating correctly. Let's take a quick look. We open it up. There's a set of patches that we can connect. These patches would go on your chest, front and back, and then we would power this on, and it'll tell us what to do.
Connect electrodes.
Once we connect the electrodes and put them on your chest, it'll check your heart to see what it's doing and help guide us through what we need to do next. Let's go on up to the medic unit. We'll take a look at those right now.
Callie, I'm not getting any questions, but I bet there might be some questions at home. What are those yellow things hanging down from the ceiling?
Let's take a look at that. These are brand new to White House Fire Department. This is part of a Climovent system. We have a huge system, a computer on the wall that controls this. This is basically a vacuum cleaner, if you will, or an air exhaust. Adults will see it connects to the exhaust pipe on all of our trucks, goes up with magnets, and when the truck starts up, the exhaust then goes through this pipe, up through all the piping in the ceiling, and goes out the roof. This allows us to run all the vehicles inside, which sounds kind of weird, but in the morning we do morning checks. In the wintertime, when it's very, very cold out, it's much more convenient for us to be able to run the trucks inside than it is to have to pull them outside. On top of that, the fire trucks all have water in them, so we can't leave them outside for long periods of time unless they're moving that water. So in the wintertime, again, the trucks stay inside and we can run them. We can also have our maintenance department come in and our maintenance company come in and do maintenance on the trucks here in the building, and they can run them inside just like they were outside. You want to go up and take a look at the medics? Okay. Here's our radio bag with extra radios for our volunteers to grab as they come in. They would grab a portable to go on the call to come to your house if you were to call 911. And this is our EMS bag. Here we have 2 medic units. They're big. We have the first one is Medic 85, is our newest one. Medic 85 is about 8 to 10 years old. And then Medic 86 is next to it with about almost 15, 16 years old now, I believe. Slowly we'll end up replacing Medic 86 with our next ambulance here in the next couple years, and then Medic 85 will move back to reserve status. If you take a look inside, I'll have you stay here. Let me pop up here. Here's all of our shelves with the main equipment that we get out when we come to your house. I've laid a couple things out. One of the things we wanted to show you today, I'm not live anywhere.
Is it? Oh, hi. I'm getting hearts and stuff.
Are you? Oh,
yeah.
It's in the event. In case you haven't followed us, you have to be in the event to be the live part. It's not going to be right on the Facebook page, although if you guys are listening to us, you probably have heard it all. So we wanted to go over PPE. Adults have heard a lot in the news about personal protective equipment and shortages and that kind of thing, but we wanted to show you what we're going to be wearing if we come to your house. So currently, most everyone's used to seeing us with our gloves on. All of us wear gloves, and it's to protect you and to protect us if we come in. We don't want to get any of your stuff on us, and we don't want to get any of our stuff on you. So that's the first thing. The second thing most of us would wear is a pair of safety glasses. I took off my regular glasses. These are actually my prescription safety glasses. I put them on, and then I have eye protection. Just in the case something gets bloody or someone occasionally spits at us, things like that, that stuff won't go into our eyes. It helps protect us that way. And then more recently, you're going to see us come into your house with an N95 mask on. An N95 mask helps us to breathe. It purifies over 95% of the particulates coming in. And what we look like is this here. So we have the N95 mask on. We might sound a little bit different right now. And our glasses on. And when we come into your house right now, this is what we would look like. Still no reason to be afraid of us. Still no reason to be scared or worried or anything. We're just doing everything we can to protect ourselves and to protect you, just in case. Let me go ahead and take this off so we can continue on. We'll take a look. Here's our EMS cot. Pretty easy. That's where we ride. It's where we put the patients and where you would go to the hospital most likely. The head comes up. We have oxygen on board the cot to go with us. So we bring that into your house or bring it into the hospital with us. And of course, sheets and everything else. An interesting thing is the foot actually comes up. So some people, when they get injured, maybe their back hurts or their leg hurts, we can lift up part of the cot and make them more comfortable. Let's take a look at these two things here. Here's our Life Pack 15. We'll turn this on. We'll pull some equipment out. Some of you will recognize this stuff. This here is a blood pressure cuff. It goes on your arm. Most of the time it goes up a little bit higher. See if I can put it on myself and take my own blood pressure today. The end of this cable plugs into our Life Pack. And I can hit this button here. Plug it in. And this will fill with air. As it's filling with air, the pressure on the monitor goes up. This gets tight. and it's listening to my pulse. Once the pressure goes up and it gives it a little squeeze, it'll come back down and it's listening for that pulse, and it'll give me a blood pressure here in just a moment. We tell little kids that it's giving your arm a little hug.
Kelly, if I was a little kid at home, does that hurt when that happens?
It doesn't hurt at all. It's just kind of like a little squeeze.
Okay.
You can see this giant band just kind of squeezes your arm a little bit, and no big deal. And it's over in about 10 or 15 seconds, not real hard. The other neat thing that we can look at is something here called a pulse ox. So if you take a look at that, you can look inside, there's a little red light. So again, nothing hurts. All you do is take your finger, put it inside there. The little red light shines through your fingernail to the sensor down here. And in just a minute, you can look up here on the screen. It'll come up right here where this blue dash line is. And it'll give me a pulse rate. There it is. So this is showing my pulse. Right now my pulse is 82, 84. My pulse ox, the oxygen that's inside my blood right now, is 97%. So that's using that little red light to read right through my fingernail. Again, doesn't hurt at all. It's just a little clip on a finger. And each one of these little waves, this is called a pleth wave. Each one of those is my heartbeat. That's sensing the pressure wave coming through the artery. And then there's my blood pressure from earlier. So this machine can do an awful lot for us. It's capable of taking a 12-lead EKG just like we would in the hospital for adults that understand that. We can do a 3-lead or a 12-lead in the field. We can also transmit those to the hospital and let a receiving emergency physician look at that if we can't figure it out. We can print out the code. We can also go through all this stuff here, and we can actually pace your heart. We can force your heart to beat faster or slower if we needed to. We can defibrillate your heart, which is the same thing that the big box in the utility truck would have done. We just have a few more controls with this. We can take your blood pressure, and then just different options for silencing alarms, that sort of thing, going to different screens, and we can show different data up here on the screen. Remember, in the utility truck, we had those great big patches. Well, those patches here are on the side, and you'll notice that's the exact same cable and the exact same patches that were in the utility truck. So pretty easy. That would allow somebody that came up in the utility truck who started patient care to then transfer over to this monitor and have a little bit more capability and continue to work on the patient. Let's go on over here let's turn this off. There.
Okay, we're back. We're back. Oh, wait, I got some questions here popping up. Can you explain the difference between Life Squad 9 and a normal Life Squad?
Sure, Brandy. So, Life Squad 9, to explain it to you, there are 11 Life Squads in Lucas County. Life Squad 9 is the one that's housed at White House Fire Department. Life Squads 1 through 5 and Life Squad 11 are housed within different stations at Toledo Fire. Life Squad 6 is up in Sylvania, 7 is in Maumee, 8 is out in Oregon, 9's here, 10's in Springfield, and 11's with Toledo. All those trucks are staffed by Lucas County paramedics. Those paramedics work for the fire department, but the fire department that they work for has a contract with Lucas County EMS to run the life squads. And then those life squads respond anywhere they're dispatched to in Lucas County. Hopefully that answers your question. Go ahead.
How long has Life Squad 9 been in White House?
I want to say before me, for sure. I want to say since about 1977, 1978, somewhere in there. They created the system in the 70s and originally came out, I believe, with Life Squads 1 through 8. They added 9 because of our incredible rural area and the amount of time it was taking Life Squad 7 to come from Maumee all the way out to Providence and White House area. And then a few years later, they added Life Squad 10 in Springfield.
Great.
So hopefully that takes care of it. Feel free to type in more questions as we're going, guys, okay? Let's take a look at our orange drug box. We have a giant orange drug box. We call it a drug box. It's really a medication box. But when we open it up, we have all of our medications. And since I moved it, all my iodine fell out. But when we open this up, this box is mainly geared towards our paramedics. We have normal saline, just like we would at the hospital. We have little things to start IVs. We have little things to give medications, and if we had to, we could give a shot. We don't normally do that. We normally start an IV and give you medication through the IV line if we have to. That way it's a little bit better for the patient. We come up here. We have needles to start our IVs. We have little bandages in case they're bleeding a little bit and to secure them. So everything on this top has to do pretty much with IVs. This is where all of our medications are stored. You can tell it's got a seal on it. This is a requirement. We have to keep track of all of our medications. And so that number is recorded all the time. And if we take something out of there, we have to record on a sheet of paper who the medication went to, why it went there, and all that kind of stuff. We have some basic stuff here. Some normal saline. This is just like salt water. This is what's in your blood already. If you were a little dehydrated, we can give you some of that and get your blood pressure to come up. We also have some bio bags. We have some extra N95 masks. And we have some sugar and some Narcan. Sometimes, if you've ever seen us go on a diabetic call, sometimes people are insulin dependent and require insulin in order to have their sugar work properly. Sometimes, if they take a little too much insulin or not enough sugar, they require some artificial sugar. And that blue box allows us to do that on scene. What else would we like to take a look at?
What do those buttons do?
These are all the controls for the ambulance. Right now, during the wonderful coronavirus, I can hit the exhaust fan, and the air is being exhausted out of this compartment as we speak. It's exhaust out the back, comes in the front. I can also control the lights that are in here. We can turn them down. Different lights on the other side, and we can silence the alarm. You can also turn everything off in this entire module back here by hitting the module master. Then this here is my heating controls. So we have a thermostat here, kind of like what you have at home. We can turn the thermostat to 70 degrees and the truck will keep this back compartment at 70 degrees. There's oxygen ports back here. There's one here and one over here.
Oh, there we go. All right, so hold on. It says, everything looks so clean and organized. Who cleans and restocks the rig between runs?
Well, great question. Who was that?
That was from Keith Tremmel.
Hey, Keith. We generally have two jobs when we go out on the truck. Usually the driver is the person that restocks the truck, cleans the truck, and does all that. And then whoever's in the officer seat or the passenger seat is the person that writes the report and takes care of the patient. So right now, I'm assigned to this truck for today with Jason Fox. He'll come out if we have a call today. He'll get in the driver's seat. I'll get in the officer seat. We'll come to your house. Because of the current precautions, I'll come to your front door and make you come to the front door. We'll get you out of the house somehow. If we have to transport you, you'll be back here with me. Jason will drive to the hospital. When we get there, we'll both go into the ER. I'll turn care over to the nurse, and I'll start working on my report. It's a computerized report now that we have a laptop to do. While I'm doing that in the ER, Jason will come out here and clean. And one of the things he'll do is spray most everything down with one of our disinfectants. He'll clean the floor and anything that would have gotten dirty, the cot, he'll remake the cot. And then any supplies I use, I have to tell Jason. And then when we get back, he'll pull them out of our cabinet and restock them. If you're taking a look at our cabinets, you'll see everything's labeled and everything has a par count. So there should be 2 of these in here, 5 of these in here. This compartment, both sides of it, is everything that we need to help people breathe. This is our airway compartment. We have bag valve mask for adults and kids, manual suctions, blood pressure cuffs, and more cleaning wipes. Over on this side, we have nasal cannulas, non-rebreathers, things to give oxygen to people. And then we have breathing tubes here that are called endotracheal tubes. Those we would actually help put down your breathing tube, your trachea, if we needed to help you breathe. If we look, we actually had a question earlier what this was. So this is also a suction unit. If I hit vacuum pump here, this comes on. I can adjust the vacuum here. And this is basically a sucker, a vacuum cleaner. So if you had a little too much spit in your mouth and we needed to get rid of it, we could do that. This is the same thing. If you've been to the dentist, it's the exact same thing that the dentist uses. Ours is just a little curved is all. Turn that off. We'll go over here and look at this cabinet. When we come over here, We have some more bulk IV supplies, basically a backup of our medication box, our orange box. Over here we have some trauma supplies, heat packs, cold packs, Band-Aids. I actually skinned my finger a little bit ago and I pulled out a Band-Aid and put it on, so I was able to take care of myself. Here we have extra gloves, small, medium, large, and extra large, all different sizes of people. And then we have extra blankets and extra personal protective equipment. This is one of our PPE kits. This has booties, gowns, a hair cover, that sort of thing. Extra safety glasses for whoever's on board the truck. Let's turn around and take a look at that cabinet right up there. We'll start here. We have some extra EKG paper for our monitor. We have extra razors. Why would we ever have to use a razor? Do you guys know? Who would we have to use a razor on? Why? Think about that. If you get the answer, type it in. We'll come back to it. We have EKG patches, extra ones. We have restraints in case someone's confused and combative, in case they're not wanting to lay on the cot for us very easily. We have a PD mate that helps us transport little kids. And if we do get little kids that are sometimes scared, sometimes a teddy bear helps. So we have a few teddy bears on board. But have you guys seen anything in here that's been scary? Probably not. Maybe the needles, but we'll tell you if something like that's going to happen. So let's go on up here. We can take a look at a couple different things in here. This is our ALS cabinet. This cabinet's really neat because we can access it from the inside, and there's a door that goes to the outside. So when we show up on your house, we don't have to open up all these doors. We just open up the side door, and we can pull all of our supplies right off the side. You guys already saw a bag like this. This was our bag just like in the utility vehicle. So it's there. It's set up the exact same as the utility. When we come up here, we have a pediatric bag. It's our blue bag that covers all of our stuff for little kids. Smaller blood pressure cuffs, smaller devices, all kinds of that. And also some computers in there on paper that show us how to calculate drug dosages for smaller people.
When you say pediatric, who's that for? What's a pediatric patient?
Pediatric is anybody under the age of 18 technically. We don't normally worry about 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Those guys are normally kind of adults, but we worry about the smaller kids. If I would normally give your mom or your dad one pill to fix their problem, I might only give a smaller child, a 10-year-old, maybe a half a pill. And so our medication chart in there helps us figure that out and helps us do that. The other thing is the breathing tubes are much smaller, the IVs are much smaller, even the little cannulas that go in your nose are much smaller to give you oxygen. If we come over here, we have an oxygen bag that we would take into your house with a portable tank. And if we turn this, you can actually hear oxygen coming out. So we bring our own oxygen right into your house. We have a portable suction unit, which is the same basic thing as what we had inside. It's just a portable unit we can bring into your house. We also have a flashlight in case it's dark. This is our rescue pump for CPR. This is one of the things that Lucas County is doing for CPR nowadays. Instead of doing just hands-on CPR, we have like a suction cup that we put on your chest, and that helps us not only push down, but also pull up during CPR compressions, and then it helps increase the blood flow back to you. Let's take a look in this big red bag. The big red bag is what's going to come into your house. Do you guys think there's anything scary in here? Probably not. Let's take a look. We have a glucometer. We'll open this up. This is what we use to test people's sugar with. If you guys are at home with a diabetic, you might actually have already seen one of these. They're pretty common. We have a little test strip, and they go into the glucometer, and it takes about 2 drops of blood, and then it'll show us what your blood sugar is. The newer addition to the fire service is going to be a thermometer. So if I do this, I can take my temperature. Doesn't hurt, doesn't touch, stays nice and clean, and it's pretty quick too. We have some backup N95 mask in here. As you can tell, we're getting pretty safe and having masks with us all the time in case something happens along the way. Put this back. This is the big compartment we'll open up. When we open it up, everything's compartmentalized. This is our Easy IO. If you're interested to know what an IO is, it's an intraosseous needle. It's a needle that if we can't get into your blood vessels, it goes into your bone. We don't normally do that, but it's there as an emergency if we have to. This is an intubation kit. This helps us put that breathing tube down someone's throat if they've stopped breathing. If they're in cardiac arrest and they're no longer breathing, we have to breathe for them. And the way we do that is we put a tube down their throat. We have an adult and a peds bag valve mask, and we also have a CPAP. This is something really neat. This is a little video camera. And again, this helps us for airway. I can take this and attach it to this piece of plastic here, and it'll give me an image. And that image is what's in your mouth. And we can take a look at what's in your mouth. And when we go to put that breathing tube down, we used to have to kind of really lift and look and get our eyes in there. And now, because of the video camera, the camera goes right down and we can see it from outside. So it's really easy, and multiple people can see it. What else is in here? Did anybody come up with an answer for what we would use a razor for?
I don't know if the comments are coming through on here, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I don't know if it's this or what. Maybe if I get outside, maybe like out there.
Well, if anyone did come up with the answer, it's to shave a chest to get an EKG. Some guys have hairy chest, and so then we take a razor and we would shave off a little bit of hair and then put the EKG patches on them. So take a look at this. Here's what we'll be using more and more. This is just a manual blood pressure cuff, the same thing you would see at your doctor's office, and a stethoscope. We would use this to listen to your lungs or listen to your heartbeat, either one. And like most everything, we have 3 sizes. One for little kids, one for big people, and one for regular people. Let's go ahead and step on out. We'll take a look at the truck. We've gone about a half an hour now. I'll give you a quick tour of a couple more compartments and then we'll call it a day. And if we get enough comments, we'll come back and do another truck another day. Okay? When we open up this, we have a backboard and a scoop stretcher. This helps us move people that can't move themselves. It allows people that are injured to be put on a board and held nice and stable and brought up to the cot. C-collars, we have vacuum mattresses. Vacuum splints and vacuum mattresses. This is a giant beanbag chair, basically, that we can put you on, and we vacuum all the air out of it, and it sucks up right around you and holds you nice and tight and squeezes you a little bit. So if you're really hurting, if your arms hurt, something like that, the vacuum mattress will kind of cocoon you, and then you won't have to worry about moving it anymore. Let's go on around. This is our gear compartment and our rehab compartment. Right now we have water in it, and the top shelf's reserved for fire gear for whoever's on the truck. So before Jason and I go on a run, we throw our fire gear on here so it's with us when we go out. Electrical compartment. We have a ladder down in the bottom left corner. This is a special folding ladder that we can put in here. It's actually, I believe, 10 feet tall. We have little extra movers that we can put underneath people. They're kind of like
Questions.
Sure.
All right. Are you doing anything special to sterilize trucks during COVID-19?
Sure. Actually, most of our standard precautions will guarantee against COVID-19. Our CDC-10 we double checked with our manufacturer, and as long as we leave that stuff sit on the infected surface for about 10 minutes, I believe 10 minutes is on the CDC-10, it'll kill COVID-19. The standard practice recommended by the CDC is that when we get to the ER and we do that normal little where I'm charting for the patient and I'm inside typing my report, we leave all the doors open for the medic unit. all that air changes out. That helps us. We disinfect at the hospital with our CDC 10 that you saw in there. When we get back to the fire department, we actually pull out back on the helipad. We open up all the doors again, let all the air change again, and we spray it down one more time just to make sure that it is all safe. The other thing we did, let's walk around here, I'll show you this real quick.
I'm getting there.
I'll have you climb in the passenger seat, and then I'll climb in the driver's seat. And I'll
Okay.
show you. Come on up in. So normally, you can see there's a door here that goes straight to the back, and you can see where we were at earlier. One of the things we did for COVID-19, you'll see this Georgia Pacific. We closed this door and taped it shut with impervious tape. So we have an air seal here now where none of the air in the back will come to the front.
Nice. All right, so we have a question.
Sure.
Kiddos want to know from Brooke Pingle, how fast do you drive when you're responding to a call?
Of course. How fast? We only drive with what's called due regard, which means we only drive as fast as we can and still be safe. Typically, we only go about 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. But we have the lights and sirens, and that helps us. People can see us, and then it helps us get to your house a little bit faster, but not super fast.
If I'm a new driver and I see your lights and sirens coming up behind me, what should I do?
Great question. You should pull to the right. We always pull to the right for lights and sirens. Even if you're on the highway and there's multiple lanes, everyone should go to the right, and then we go to the left. We teach all of our drivers when they're driving an emergency vehicle to go to the left and to watch for people, and then the public and all of you guys should drive to the right, slow down, stop, allow us to pass, and then go on your way.
Great, thank you.
Any more questions coming out?
Not right now.
Not right now?
But internet, yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, nope, no new questions. All right.
I apologize if it's reconnecting and stuttering on you guys. I don't know if it's our wireless connection here, our internet, or our cellular, or whatever. So I think really that's about it for Medic 85 today.
Can you show us some of this stuff in here in the
yeah,
cab?
Sure.
Not every car has a computer in it.
No, not every car does. So if you remember the screen inside, the big screen in the dispatch room, this is our little screen. This is the exact same as that same screen. And I could actually click on these calls, and I could go to those calls, and they would show me where those calls were. They would show me what you guys tell 911 when you call and talk to the dispatcher. It's very important if you call 911 to stay on the phone. The initial call taker will ask you some basic questions, and then they'll transfer you to an EMS dispatcher who's going to ask you more pertinent questions, more in-depth questions. It's important that you guys stay on the phone during that whole process. Sometimes people hang up because they think that they're done. But if you stay on, you'll get us more information and allow us to better serve you and get more equipment to you at a better time.
What if I don't know what my address is yet? I haven't learned that.
Well, if you don't know what your address is, we need to work on that with mom and dad. But if you call 911 from one of your home phones that's attached to the wall, or one of the, not mom and dad's cell phone, but one of your home phones, 911 can see where you're calling from.
Cool.
So
what happens if I touch this button
that
right
button,
here?
the emergency button?
Yeah.
That lets my dispatcher know that something's wrong, something's in trouble, and they'll send help to me. So, in my case, being that we're on a fire truck, if I hit the emergency button, they'll try to make contact with me. They'll usually make my 911 phone call.
Okay, hold on, I'm ready. I got some more questions here.
Okay.
Have you, what have you done if there's too many fires and you don't have enough people? That's from Noelle Anderson.
Okay. No, well, that's a great question, because we are a very small department. If there's too many fires, we just call the next department. So in our case, we're surrounded by Providence Township, Waterville City, Monclova Township, and even Springfield Township. So they're all kind of our helpers. And if we need help, we call them. And then further out, if they can't help us, we just keep calling on out. We actually had Maumee Fire out helping us a few months ago when there were a bunch of calls going on.
Great. And Keith Tremolo asks, do you still get location when on cell phone?
That is a question that you would have to ask the 911 dispatchers. I believe they do, and they coordinate it with latitude and longitude, and then they pass it on to us through an address.
Great, thank you.
Sure. We have our computer, we have our radio. If I move my computer, you can see my bright yellow radio. This allows me to talk to anybody in Lucas County. It actually allows me to talk to most of Ohio if I change the channels to the right thing. And mainly to talk to my dispatcher. All these switches here control the lights and the sirens and the lights outside the vehicle. If I press the emergency master and we look outside, we can see all the lights are flashing on the truck now. If I turn it off, they'll all shut back off. And then, kind of standard, we have an AM/FM radio, because sometimes we like to listen to the radio when we're coming back from calls. We have our driving light switch, so we can have some extra light if we need it. We have some other kind of big truck switches, our parking brake, and just in case our other computer fails, we have a backup Garmin GPS that can help us get to your house. And you can see we're using the ambulance. I think that's going to be, oh, actually, let's look at this. This is one neat thing. This is our backup camera. So just like you have a backup camera in your car, this is our screen for that. I can't turn it on right now because the truck's off, but that's what that does. I think that's going to be about it today. We've gone, like I said, just over half an hour. If you guys like it, leave some comments. Let us know. You can always email us or hop on our Facebook page and send us an email and questions and such. And we'll go from there. If you guys like it, we'll do it a couple more times and kind of see what we can do. With that, thanks for coming to White House Fire, Station 85. I'm Kelly Norris. Thanks.